U.S. President Barack Obama reacted diplomatically to the death of former President Fidel Castro, expressing condolences to his family. President-elect Donald Trump has criticized Obama's Cuba policies and released a statement calling Fidel Castro a brutal dictator. The differences in tone may signal a major shift in relations between Washington and Havana, as VOA White House correspondent Cindy Sain reports.
During his life, Fidel Castro blamed the United States economic embargo for his country's economic woes. Some, including French President François Hollande, used Castro's death as an opportunity to call for the embargo to end.
Je veux, à l'occasion de la disparition de Fidel Castro,
I want, on the occasion of the death of Fidel Castro, to again insist that the embargo that punishes Cuba should be lifted definitively.
Levé, définitivement levé. Et qu'il puisse y avoir une ouverture.
Cuba should be fully regarded as a partner in the international community.
Puisse être pleinement dans la communauté internationale.
The embargo remains in effect, even though some of its restrictions were loosened by a recent thaw in U.S.-Cuba relations. Despite the thaw, U.S. companies who want to do business in Cuba say bureaucratic hurdles have slowed their plans.
Fidel was the intellectual and leader of the revolution.
U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, a Cuban-American, says Castro's death brings Cubans a step closer to freedom, but he believes doing business in Cuba may remain business as usual.
You want to do business in Cuba? You want to be part of the hotel industry or the tourism industry? You got to go see Raul's son. You want to go ahead and do agriculture business in Cuba? You got to do it with his son-in-law, both high-ranking officials of the Cuban military.
Another factor complicating trade ties with Cuba is President-elect Donald Trump. At a September campaign event, Trump criticized President Obama's moves toward normalizing relations with Cuba and threatened to reverse them.
But all of the concessions that Barack Obama has granted the Castro regime were done through executive order, which means the next president can reverse them. And that I will do unless the Castro regime meets our demands. Those demands will include religious and political freedom for the Cuban people and the freeing of political prisoners.
Trump's incoming White House chief of staff, Reince Priebus, echoed that sentiment on Sunday, saying the U.S. will need to see some movement from Cuba in order to have a relationship with the United States.